Alright guys, welcome back to this tutorial. Today we're going to be placing in a roof into our existing model that we're building with the Archicad 26 built-in template and the architectural profile 26. So let's go ahead and get started. Here I have this section that we were working with last time, adjusting our story level markers here. We can have a couple things to clean up here, but we'll do that a little bit later. For now, I just want to go ahead and get started with the roof. So let's go ahead and open up I guess I'll go to all visible and unlocked that view. As long as we have the floor plan, putting in the roof is pretty easy. Doing it in 3D is not very intuitive. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and select our roof tool, and then let's select the shingle roof structure here, roof composite that we have. And then we're going to make sure that your geometry method is the multi-plane geometry method, so that we have a basically a multi-plane roof. And then we're going to make sure that we have the construction method is rectangular hip / gable. So all that means is that when we click down, we'll have this little rectangle that's going to be made for us that'll kind of basically automatically drop in 4 nodes for us. So I clicked once, I click again, and then bam, we've got our roof. And we can see we've got a hip roof here. Now if you want to get rid of this pattern here, because it's kind of in the way, all you have to do is click on the roof and then come up here to the top toolbar and then scroll to the right all the way up until you get to this cover fill option, and then all you're going to do is just click that once and it'll remove that cover fill. You can also change it to something else if you like, but this is just for 2D floor plan view. And then now we can kind of see the floor plan underneath it. Right now I'm just going to click on this blue line, this blue reference line here, and then I'm going to use the add node option from the command palette, and I'm going to add a new node right here. Now once I've added that node, I'm going to go ahead and select this blue reference line again, and then back to the command palette we're going to go ahead and select offset edge, and then I'm just going to drag this and just get it to snap to that point right there, right before it meets the wall finish, and we've got our roof right there. Alright, so sorry about the noise guys, that's my cat. And there's our roof. So let's go ahead and look at it in 3D. And actually before we do that, let me select it, and then we're going to utilize the stories that we defined in the previous section. So I've got the roof selected. I know it's not going to end up in the right spot if I look at it in 3D right now, which means that my drawings are not going to be auto-generated correctly. So I need to make sure that the home story is set to the roof. Let me hit select story. There we go. So I'm gonna make the home story the ceiling, and then I'm going to, yeah, you'll see it disappeared there. We're gonna go ahead and in our view map we're gonna just head down to our building section A, and let's have a look at where our roof is intersecting. So we can see that this reference line here, this is essentially what gets adjusted to the story that you select. I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to move it up 1 inch, up until it gets to that intersection point right there. Or another thing you can do is actually just select this roof and then come up here and then set the height to 1 inch, and it'll move it 1 inch up. You can also just drag it manually, and that should work fine. Okay, so that's that. Now the cool thing about doing the 3D modeling is sometimes you'll, if you know, depending on how you're setting your roof structure, if you're trying to use the ceiling joists as as rafter ties, you want to make sure that your rafters are actually bigger, or at least the same size as your ceiling joists, and that doesn't always happen. So it's good to to have an actual model to deal with, because you can kind of see, if this was any bigger, right, it would be sticking up out of the roof structure, and you don't want that happening, right, in an actual project. So that's our roof. Let's go ahead and look at it in 3D. So let me go to View, and then Elements in 3D View, and Show All in 3D. So there we have it. We've got our roof shown, and let me see what else. So over here we've got our wall sticking up a little bit. We can actually lower it if you like. There's also another cool trick that I think might be useful to show you guys at this point, which is pretty basic, very nice feature that Archicad has. Instead of just dragging these walls down and making them a little bit shorter, what I can do is I can select the wall, and then I can use a tool over here from the top toolbar, very top toolbar right here, and then there's this trim elements to roof feature or function option, and then I can just click that once, and then I want to trim that wall to this roof, and so I click on that roof once, and then I click on the side of the wall that I want to keep. So I want to keep this bottom side, so I'm just going to go ahead and click right over here, and then this tool is automatically going to just cut that wall down or trim it to the roof. And so that's our 3D model with our roof. And then we can look at our elevations. Let's head over to our elevations here, and we can see that the roof is showing up now on our elevations. We can define the roof pitch in a couple different ways. I'm just going to go ahead and select it here in our west elevation. So if I select the roof, let's go ahead and click on that. If I click on that roof, I can adjust the roof pitch right over here. So if I want it to be, let's say, a 4 and 12, I'll just put 4 inches in 12 inches. So that's a 4 and 12. You can also adjust it a number of different ways if you're using degrees or percentages, or in 12 feet. You can do that, although it's mostly common to just use, at least in the US, some number of inches in 12 inches. So that's basically how you adjust the roofs. Now there's a couple other things you can do with roofs, and maybe we can do a separate video going through some more advanced features of roofs, but for now this is okay. You can do very complicated roof structures in Archicad, but for now I think this is good enough for us if we're just starting. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys found that helpful.